What is up, everyone? It's Carmen here from drcarmenjames.com, and welcome back to my channel if this is not your first time, and if it is, then welcome. Today I am going to be finding out if I have antibodies for COVID-19. So it was about 5 months ago where I sat right here and told you about my COVID-19 story, and I was curious to know whether I have antibodies to COVID-19. So I got a test done, and I put up a poll on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can go ahead and follow me. Here's my handle. But I put a poll on my Instagram stories, and I asked you guys, what did you think? Do you think that I have COVID-19 antibodies or not? And so most of you said, yes, you have. But some of you said no. And to be honest, I am leaning more to the no camp, but I'm not sure. And so I really wanted to do this test for my own curiosity's sake, but also for a bunch of other reasons. But maybe we'll talk about that just now, because I got the message that I have my results, but I have not looked at them yet. So you're gonna see my reaction as I read them. And I literally can't wait anymore. So let me get my phone and let's see if I have COVID-19 antibodies. Okay, so it's the moment of truth. So let's see what my results say. Oh, my heart is pounding. This is absolutely crazy. Okay, I'm gonna post a copy of my results here on the screen. Okay, so my tests show that I have not got COVID-19 antibodies. In fact, the test says SARS-CoV-2 antibodies non-reactive, which means it's another word for negative. And then it says SARS-CoV-2 antibody not detected, and consider this patient as susceptible. So, wow. Like I said just now, it was 5 months ago. I got diagnosed in April, and it's important for me because I'm still exposed to COVID-19 patients in my line of work. So I work in a clinic in primary healthcare, and so I come into contact with COVID-19 patients all the time. Sometimes have to test them, sometimes just treat them, and so it's important for me to know whether it was important for me to know whether I had antibodies. But the other reason why I wanted to know if I had antibodies is because of this concept of being able to donate serum to people who may actually need it as part of their treatment plan. Obviously, this is still experimental, but there have been some success stories with using plasma. And so I was curious to know if I could potentially become a donor of my plasma if I actually did have antibodies. But I've been hearing over and over again from all kinds of experts who say that it's expected or it's anticipated that COVID-19 antibodies, just like many other coronaviruses, antibodies towards them generally tend to fade over time. So basically the rest of the statement, according to the lab's report, is that not everybody who gets COVID-19 infection will actually develop antibodies towards that infection. So maybe just briefly, if the idea or the thought of antibodies and like what are antibodies, if that's a little bit confusing to you, basically in your immune system, what happens is that if you get an infection, in this case, let's talk about coronavirus infection, so SARS-CoV-2 infection, what would happen normally is that your body would detect a virus which is not part of your own body and your own cells. So it will recognize the virus as being foreign. And what happens is that your body starts to attack that virus because it's not supposed to be in your body. But then what happens after that usually is that you would then want to have a memory of that, so that if you are exposed to that virus again in future, you would want to be able to fight it more successfully, and you would also hopefully want to not develop symptoms if you're exposed to the infection the second time around. And so antibodies are part of that memory that the immune system has. So that if you get in contact with the same virus again at a point in the future, then your body's immune system memory will kick in and will begin to release these antibodies, which are basically proteins that kind of stick to the virus and prevent it from attaching into your body cells and establishing an infection. Some antibodies actually stick to virus particles and other pathogens and cause them to clump together, almost like creating like a sticky ball of viruses, if you think about it, so that they're actually unable to gain access into your cells. And so the reason why it's so important to know if you have antibodies or not is because we really want to know if you are exposed to the infection in future, are you going to be sick again, or is your body's immune system going to remember, hey, I've seen this thing before, let me release some antibodies that are specific to this particular infection so that I prevent myself from getting sick. I hope that makes sense. So there may be various reasons why my test says that I don't have antibodies towards COVID-19. I just may not have produced antibodies. That is one possibility. But another possibility is that maybe I produced lots of antibodies in the beginning and that they have faded over time. Another possibility is that when we are testing for antibodies, there are two different types of tests that we do. One that's called a qualitative test and the other that's called a quantitative test. Now, a qualitative test basically tells us a yes or no answer, like in the case of my results. So it says, do you have antibodies towards COVID-19? Yes or no? And that's basically the test result that I got back. But a quantitative test tells us if there are antibodies, how many antibodies are there. Now, we still don't know the significance of how many antibodies you have or have not, but a quantitative test is able to tell us exactly how many antibodies are floating around in your system. So it could also be that I don't have enough antibodies to be detected by this particular qualitative test. So that is another possibility. So unfortunately, these results kind of still leave me a little bit up in the air, meaning that I could be protected or maybe I'm not protected at all. But even though I don't quite know about my immunity towards COVID-19, I think that it is important for us to remember that even if we have had the infection before, that we still need to be doing our best to prevent ourselves from getting exposed to this infection, just in case we are susceptible to getting this infection again. So I think the take-home message here is to make sure that you are still washing your hands, wearing your mask, keeping your distance, and making sure that you are doing everything you can to keep not only yourself, but others safe as well. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel yet, I post videos about health and wellness and natural remedies and how to live a healthier lifestyle. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care and stay safe. Bye.